Now we're going to look at the outline of a typical lesson. Here's the lesson outline. Let's have a look. Wow, that looks like a lot of things. Each thing is really short. We have a lot of things in the lesson so that you can integrate all your skills eventually. So we're just going to go through this briefly. For our lesson components, we also have separate videos that explain in more depth how we do them and why we do them so that you can understand why we go through all these steps. The first thing that we're going to do for each lesson is the card deck. So the card deck practice is going to be different in every lesson, so don't skip it. It only includes the cards that you've already done. And we choose the cards at the beginning of each lesson that are going to help you with the new learning that you're going to do. So for the card deck, you do here for a consonant on a white card, you say the name of the letter, the keyword, and the sound. So this would be G, goat, G, for vowel on those pink cards. U, umbrella, A. Here's our lesson outline, and we've done the card deck. The next thing we're going to do is the blending practice. So for our blending practice, we look at the card, look at the letter, say the sound, do each sound separately, tap it, G, A, P, then blend it, gup. So that's the blending practice. The next thing is new work. When we do the new work, we start with reviewing skills that you already know that will help set you up for the new one. Then we discover the new set of letters that are going to make a sound. We're going to use multisensory elements to do that. Auditory, you're going to listen and repeat words. Visual, you're going to read words. If you have a learner sheet and you're able to print it, that's when you're going to need it. For the kinesthetic part, you are going to use movement somehow to imprint the new skill on your brain. We're going to end with the mini blending practice, where you're going to see how the new card is going to fit into your blending practice going forward. That's new work. The next thing we're going to do is new words. Let's have a look at that. So for new words, you will have a list like this, depending on the skill that we're doing and how much you already know. The new list will have 4 to 9 words. Each word in it will have the new letter or set of letters. Reading words in isolation is a great way to practice decoding, which means that you're not going to be guessing the word based on context or illustrations. You will actually be reading it. That's new words done. The next element in our lesson, new word sentences. Let's have a look at that. There will be 2 to 3, depending on how long they are. Each sentence will have a word that has the new skill in it. There, we're going through our lesson quickly. New word sentences is done. The next thing we're going to do is the phonological activity. Stop slamming doors out there. During the phonological activity, we take a break from reading to look at other elements of language, in particular, what it sounds like. The focus is on sounds, not letters, hearing, not reading, speaking, not spelling. So, for example, say tab, say tag. What do you hear that's different? We could be segmenting. Say fast. How many sounds do you hear? Oh, hear 4 sounds. Sometimes we use concrete objects to make the learning more obvious, and it also makes it multisensory. That's the phonological activity done. The next thing we're going to do is review words. In the review word list, there will be words with the new skill that you learned. And there will also be words that don't have that new set of letters in it that include previously taught skills. The review word list also includes nonsense words. If you're wondering why, we have a video about that that explains why we use them. And there's usually 4 to 6 of those. Now we're going to do what says. What says is like spelling. Instead of spelling whole words, you're just going to spell a sound. For example, say ah. What says ah? A says ah. And then you write that. There will usually be 8 to 10 of these, and they will begin with the most recent sounds that you've learned. So that's what says. The next thing we're going to do is spelling. First, spelling words. Spelling words. You will have 4 to 6 spelling words. The first few of them will have the new sound, and there will be words that don't have that. There will be review words. Either way, you won't be guessing. You will only be required to spell words that have the sounds that you already know. Now we have spelling words done. I'm going to do writing sentences. You will have, usually it's 2 sentences. They're not very long, and they will include words that have the skill of the day in them. And all the other words you should be able to spell based on what you've learned in previous lessons. If there are words in there that are illegal, we will tell you about them first. You will use your thinking caps to check those sentences. We've got another video just on spelling sentences that explains all of that. Oh, look, we're near the end. Now we're going to read some text. When we read text as part of our lesson, we use decodable text. That means you're going to be able to read it. 90%, 95% of the text is going to only have skills that we've already taught in this and previous lessons. We have more information about decodable text in other videos, so you can look for that. We might ask you to highlight or underline words that have the sound that you learned. So, for example, you could put a brev over that A to show that it is short. We'll only start reading the text. You can finish it on your own if you have access to it, or you can look for the new skill in text that you have at hand in your everyday life. So reading text is over. The last thing we do in the lesson is review what we learned today. It's very short. So for example, you might say, A says ah, A is a vowel, it's on a pink card. When A says ah, it's short. The key word for that is apple. So that's how we review the lesson. You're all done. Congratulations.